In this video, we will look at our second Java program. This program will introduce us to variables and a few new ways to write output to the console window. Let's look at the program. Go to Project, select Open Project. I want to open this project second program. It has a class named Hello variable. Let's see what's inside this class. This class contains a public method multiply by 2, which takes no arguments and returns no value. Notice that multiply by 2 is not marked static, and there is no main method in hello variable class. So, in order to execute multiply by 2 method, we will need an object of hello variable class. We will see how to create that object a little later. Before that, we will go through the program and try to understand it. The first line of multiply by 2 method declares an integer variable named number. Variables are at the core of any meaningful program. You can think of variables as containers that hold information. Your program can change the information in these containers as needed. These containers are basically memory locations that hold some value. This value represents the information stored in that memory location. The memory location is given a name, and this name is used to access that memory location in your program. In Java, you first need to declare a variable before using it. The syntax for variable declaration is type followed by the variable name followed by a semicolon. Java defines several data types like integer, character, and floating point. The variable number is of type integer, as specified by the keyword int at the beginning of its declaration. We will discuss data types and variables in detail in a later video. This is just a brief introduction to get us started. In the next line, we assign a value of 50 to our variable number. Moving on to the next line, it prints the string the value of number is 50 to the console. Notice the use of plus to join this string with the value of number. You can use the plus operator to join as many items you want within a single println statement and output the resultant string to the console. Next line multiplies the value of number by 2 and assigns it back to number. The current value of number is 50. 50 multiplied by 2 gives 100. This result 100 is assigned back to the variable number, so when this line is executed, the value of number changes from 50 to 100. The next line uses print method of system.out to print this string to the console. Print method is like println method with one difference. It does not output the new line character after every call. What this means is that the next output that is printed on the console will start on the same line rather than starting on the next line. The next line uses println method to print the value of number on the screen. So 100, which is the current value of number, gets printed to the console. Notice that the number is used by itself while calling the println method. Both print and println methods can print the value of any of Java's built-in types. This is a simple program which uses a variable to multiply its value by 2 and assign it back to the variable. Let's execute the program and see whether the output comes as per our expectations or not. Go back to the main window and compile the class. The class compiles successfully without any errors. As I said before, to execute multiply by 2 method, we will first need to create an object of hello variable class. Right-click on the hello variable class and select this option, new hello variable. This dialog is asking for a name of this object. You can give any name of your choice, but it should be a valid identifier. I will go with the name suggested by BlueJ, HelloVar1, and hit OK. The newly created object appears at the bottom of the window. The name you specified is written on the object. It is followed by a colon and then the class name to which this object belongs. This helps to easily identify your object when multiple objects are present. Right-click on the object, select the method multiply by 2 and it gets executed. As multiply by 2 doesn't take any arguments, so BlueJ didn't show any dialog for entering the arguments and directly executed the method. As you can see, the output is exactly as we discussed when we were going over the program. Let's open the class and correlate the output with the code. This first println statement prints the first line of output on the console. As println also prints a new line, the output of next print statement starts on the next line. This print statement prints this part of the line. As the print statement doesn't print a new line, the output of next println statement starts on the same line. It prints the value of number as 100 on the same line, and with this, execution of the program completes. Next, we will briefly look at two control statements, the if statement and the for loop. A basic knowledge of these is needed to understand some of the concepts which I will be discussing next. This is just a quick overview. Later in the course, there is a dedicated section for control statements where we will spend a good amount of time to understand control statements in depth. In the two programs you have seen so far, you would have noticed that when the program is run, its statements are executed from top to bottom in the order in which they are written. The order in which the statements of a program are executed is known as control flow or flow of control. Most of the times you will want to alter the control flow to suit the needs of your program. You might want to skip some set of statements based on some condition while repeating some other set of statements. Programming languages provide statements to alter the control flow of the program, and these statements are known as control statements. When you need to make a decision in your program, you will use the if statement. It executes a certain section of code only if a test evaluates to true. Its syntax is this. The if statement will evaluate the condition. If condition is true, then statement is executed. If condition is false, then statement is bypassed. Let's switch to BlueJ to see a program that demonstrates if statement in its most simple form. I will open the project which has our if statement program. We want to see the HelloIf class. Let's execute it and correlate the output with the code. First I will compile the class. Then I will make an object of this class. I will keep the default name for the object. Next, I will right-click on the object and execute the demo if statement. We got some output. Now let's go over the code of demo if statement and understand the output that we got. These statements declare two integer variables a and b and assign the values 1 and 2 to a and b respectively. You can declare multiple variables of the same type in a single line by separating them with commas. The next line is an if statement which checks if a is less than b. The condition is true as the value of a, which is 1, is less than the value of b, which is 2. So the println following it gets executed and we see this output on the console. After this, the variable a is multiplied by 2, which gives the result as 2. This 2 is assigned back to a, changing its value from 1 to 2. The next if statement checks if a is equal to b. The condition is true as both a and b are now 2, so the println following it gets executed and we see the second line of output on the console. We again multiply a by 2 and assign it back to a. Now a contains 4. The next if statement checks if a is greater than b. A's value is 4 and b's value is 2. So the condition of if statement evaluates to true as 4 is greater than 2. And the println following it gets executed and we see the third line of output on the console. Next if statement checks if a is equal to b. A is 4 and b is 2, so clearly they are not equal. The condition is false. The println following it is not executed and we don't see the text. This won't be printed on the console. This should give you a basic idea of how if a statement works, which is good enough for us to get started. We will revisit the if statement later in the control statements section. The other control statement that we will be looking at now is the for loop. In a programming language, loops are used to execute a set of statements repeatedly until the specified condition is satisfied. Java provides a very rich collection of looping constructs. The most commonly used one is the for loop. This is the syntax of for loop. The initialization portion of the loop sets the loop control variable to an initial value. Initialization happens only for the first time when the for statement is executed, which means that the initialization part of for loop only executes once. One execution of the for loop is called an iteration. Condition in for loop is evaluated on each iteration. If the condition is true, then the statement gets executed. Once the condition returns false, the statement does not execute and the control gets transferred to the next statement in the program after for loop. After each iteration of the for loop, the increment-decrement part of the for loop gets executed and it updates the loop control variable. For loop may sound complicated in theory, but it is quite easy and straightforward to use in practice. So let's look at a program to easily understand for loop. Hello for class will help us to understand for loop. We have a variable I here which is of type integer. Then we have a for loop which contains a println statement inside it. Let's execute the demo for loop method and see what is the output. As always, first we need to compile the class. For that, I'll go to the main window, I'll right click on the class and select compile. Next, I will create an object of hello for class. For that, again, I'll right click on the class and select this option hello for. I'll keep the default name for the object and select OK. Now, to execute the demo for loop method, I'll right click on the object and select demo for loop. We got some output. Let me open the class code as well. As you can see, there are 4 output lines on the console, even though our program has only 2 println statements. The reason for this is our for loop. It is repeatedly executing the first println statement 3 times. Let's take a closer look at the program and understand how this output got generated. I is the loop control variable of this for loop. It is assigned a value of 0 in the initialization portion of for loop. This initialization happens only the first time when for loop is executed. Next, the conditional test is performed. The current value of I is 0, which is less than 3, so the condition is true. As the condition is true, the println statement gets executed and we get our first output line on the console. After executing the statement, the increment-decrement part of the for loop is executed, which increments I to 1. With this, the first iteration of our for loop completes. On the second iteration again, the conditional test is performed. I is now 1, but it is still less than 3, so the condition is true and println statement gets executed again. This gives us our second output line with the value of I as 1. Note that initialization part of for loop is not executed again as it is only executed once at the beginning of the first iteration. After executing the println statement, the increment-decrement part of for loop changes the value of I to 2. Like second iteration, at the beginning of third iteration, conditional test is true as the value of I is 2, so it is still less than 3. Println is executed, we get the third output line on the console. Then increment-decrement part of for loop changes the value of I to 3. At the beginning of fourth iteration, the conditional test is performed. Value of I is now 3. That means I is no longer less than 3, so the condition becomes false. As the condition is false, println statement is not executed and program control moves to the statement after the for loop. In our case, it is this println statement and we see the output, now you know for loop on the console. Okay, so now that we have looked at the for loop, won't you agree with me that for loop is quite simple and straightforward in practice? That's all I had in this video. It's time to wrap up. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.